First of all, I want to say spoilers, Mud, keep it in this time, it matters.
So what did we see today, guys?
Doctor Asleep.
You mean Redrum?
I did.
That's what the poster
That's the
said.
name of the movie.
That's what the
fact.
poster
Every
said.
single time we saw it, Mud the first time looks over me and goes, "That's the name of the movie." And then when it's in the overlook or the outlook or whatever it is at the end, I'm like, "Mud, it's the name of the movie."
The
again."
poster literally has like Redrum.
It did not. The first poster did not have the title of the movie on it.
Yeah, I know.
Do you guys think it had the same marketing team as Chapter John 3-Wick Parabellum?
Sequel to The Shining. Let's answer the question. Who has seen The Shining here?
I have.
It's been a while.
I have not.
Okay.
So I will preface all of my hot takes and opinions about this movie with I haven't seen The Shining. That being said, I'm not totally unaware of the story. I know what the movie's about. I know the major plot beats of it, you know.
I should clarify, I haven't seen it in a while, but I remember it very vividly because it's that kind of movie.
Yeah, it's a very good movie.
Now, I know for a fact, based on us walking out of the theater, that we had differing opinions. You two did not like it. I did.
It's not that I didn't like it.
It sounds like it.
But
I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. It's just not good.
I didn't find it terribly enjoyable. I don't know if I'd say it's not good, but it's not...
Oh, no, just it's not good doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not good.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to go with that. It's just not good.
I disagree. I think it's like a strong movie. It's not fantastic.
I mean,
if you go into this movie like expecting another Shining, you're not gonna like. You shouldn't expect like another Godfather.
No, I didn't expect The Shining.
Yeah,
but
I'm not saying you did. I'm just saying.
I had some pretty low expectations, if I'm being honest, because I was like, man, this is a sequel coming out 30 plus years later.
Yeah,
felt kind of cash grabby.
Well,
was worried they were gonna lean too much on the nostalgia of, hey, this was in The Shining. Do you remember The Shining?
Listen.
I'll give the movie credit. They did not start leaning on that till the finale.
Oh, yeah. And then it was like, hey, it's The Shining.
That was my defense. Now, I got pretty hyped when she chugged all those canisters and they went to the Overlook. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be a showdown.
And then it wasn't.
It was pretty underwhelming. I feel like the movie actually got better at that point, but it was still not like the big...
What I do want to say is that Shining is a very important movie for me. It's there's a lot going on in it. I feel like it's the kind of movie you could rewatch over and over again. Oh, yeah. I think that until they get to the hotel, this movie is phenomenal and is worthy of talks of like one of the best of the year. I think that once they get to the hotel, it's all right. I like the establishing shots. They really nail all the establishing shots and how long everything lingers, and it's just the right amount of takes. It doesn't go too long, it doesn't go too short. And what really kind of falls apart in the end, if we could just get right into the negatives, every prominent horror character from The Shining stands like within like 5 feet of each other and kill Charlize Theron in a not very scary way. And then like some guy shoves his hand in her face and it's supposed to be scary, but it looks very, very fake and very, very bland. And I don't know why these characters would be there in that situation anyway. It makes it feel like there's no other characters in the Overlook except those 7 or 8 monsters that we saw in the original Shining. And what's really creepy about The Shining is that you don't know what else is in that hotel. They've only been to like a dozen or so of those rooms.
Yeah,
they've only explored like a handful of hallways in that thing, and then the big thing and stuff like that. Aside from that, it made it feel like...
It made it feel small.
It's as if they tried to...
They crammed it in there at the end.
They crammed it in at the end, melded the genre. They started to stray away from horror into like action-adventure a little bit, which I don't hate because I like Aliens and I like Terminator 2 Judgment Day. But it started really strong, and then the third act did a less shitty version of It Chapter 2's third act.
Yep.
It really just kind of plateaued. It's like, why did they do that?
It definitely plateaued. Which sucks, because right before that happens, the best scene of the movie happens.
Yes.
When he's at the bar with Lloyd the bartender, and he's basically
That's such a
talking to
good
his dad.
scene.
I was like, this is great. This is why this movie is terrible.
That's such a good scene.
This movie takes forever to get going.
Yes.
I think that's the best way I can put it. Because there's this whole establishing arc of, Danny being this spun-out junkie trying to get away from the trauma of his childhood and this, that, and the other thing. But he finally starts making connection with this girl. And then he leaves this woman to die, apparently. And then 8 years later.
Yeah.
And Danny's sober, and I was like, what?
I actually really enjoyed that. I think everything until the third act was like a really nice, dark, like mini-series almost, because it went really long but didn't feel too long.
It felt very long.
It felt pretty long in some scenes.
Yeah.
It felt like it was just a lot of back and forth of Danny's going about his life trying to get away from The Shining, and then something kind of weird happens, and then we cut back to the hippie commune, and they're murdering children, and then we cut back to Danny, and he's
Well, I'd
just
argue
kinda
that all
chilling.
those scenes aren't recursive. Each one adds to the story that's come before. I wouldn't say that that's repetitive.
It felt pretty repetitive to me.
Oh, I disagree.
Okay.
I didn't like the villain.
Yeah,
She
Rosie
kinda
the Hat,
sucks.
she was not an interesting villain. I didn't like the, I'm gonna say, sexual undertones of smoke inhaling. Like, at the very end, she's like, oh,
See, I
so
kinda do.
good.
I think it's awkwardly
Yeah, well, that's
creepy.
because you're a sex addict.
No, don't put it to me. I have real opinions. Thank you. I think it's really creepy and really works with this aesthetic and vibe of the movie.
Jake, we're white guys talking about movies. We don't have real opinions.
That's very funny. I didn't not like the sexual thing. I didn't really have a strong opinion on that. I didn't like her in general. I think she did a job.
Half of the movie,
A lot of her dialogue was really weird.
half of her scenes were just her kind of like sitting around,
Yeah.
astral projecting.
The shots of the astral projection and shit are awesome. The movie, technical credit, fucking cool.
There were some
a lot
pretty
of
good shots in
cool
that
shots, a lot of cool shit going on. The plot and the characters, that's the part I didn't like, which is really weird.
I think that's a good way to put it. I didn't really enjoy the characters. I liked Danny. He
Yeah,
was good.
good.
I liked
The little girl,
Abra.
Yep.
She was cool.
she's cool.
And then everyone outside of that,
I like
no.
Tony,
Yes.
the guy.
Tony's a banger.
Yeah,
The guy from the first Shining that
Yes.
died?
Yes.
I thought his name was Dick.
yeah, his Dick. He calls him Dick, but he says Tony, help me, and then he shows up.
Yeah, he was pretty cool.
He's
And
great.
again, I know The Shining, so I get his character. I was like, that's a really cool
Yeah, I
follow
like-
line. I think what really broke this movie for me is at one point, and I said this to Ian, I just leaned over to him and I said, this is just Monsters, Inc. They're running around scaring children and using their screams as power.
I lost my shit when he said that.
Aside from that, the similarities end. There's nothing related to Monsters Inc. besides that.
No, of course.
Of
but
course
I just
not. But like, it
I
was
just was
just
just
that
like,
moment,
what?
in that moment where I was like, this is just Monsters, Inc.
2.5 hours? It was way too long. I felt like they could have cut a half hour or 45 minutes out of this movie.
They could've cut a bit.
I wouldn't go
So-
that far. I think the nice long slow
I
pace
wanna
really worked for it.
pose a question because I didn't follow this. And spoiler warning in case you really aren't paying attention. So, at one point in the movie, Danny and his friend Billy take Abra out into a forest to lure in all the cannibal hippies.
Mhm.
And they hotbox the hippies and shoot them all.
Mhm.
But there's one left, and it turns out that the Abra they took with them was actually just a teddy bear that Abra was astral projecting onto.
Yep.
And she wasn't really there. But then, boom, double fake out. The one who wasn't there found the real Abra and kidnapped her. And I was just like, okay, well, if they were aware of the double fake out, why did they bother going to the trap and getting everyone killed?
I don't think they knew it was a trap, or if they did know it was a trap, then they had more than one plan. They had more than you know the plan of let's put all the cops under Gotham City to fight Bane. Oh no, everything blew up. We're stuck down here. They wanted to avoid a plan like that where they send every single troop that they have into one place so they can all die.
Well, why didn't they split up more evenly? Why was it one and many?
Well,
I felt like he was...
And it
just-
definitely felt like, the way it's presented, it felt like they knew it was going to be a trap.
I felt like only he knew. Because he told Rose before she left, I have some tricks up my sleeve. But then he's just like talking about, collateral, good people died. So it just seems like it's like
It's
he
weird. It's
knew,
like,
but
did
then
he-
he didn't know, and
Did
then
he
he
want
knew.
his group to die or not?
It seems very weird.
well, he obviously knew that his people died. I mean, they're all psychic.
No, he knew they died, but
But
like,
the question
did
is,
he
did he
want
know it was
them
going to be a trap? Because the movie makes
No,
it
he knows
seem
it's
like
going
he
to be
knew
a
it was gonna
trap, but, like-
so why send them into the trap?
Yeah.
He doesn't know if they'll survive or not because it's a bunch of psychics versus one or two technically. So
But why would you even bother with the fight if you can just go
Right.
straight to the source and grab her and
it's
leave?
a fight. There's a chance he'll win, and there's a chance they'll lose, and they lost, and he was pretty upset.
But why have the fight in the first place if it can be avoided?
Because he didn't know necessarily that she would be or would not be in that place. He
See,
wanted
but
to-
the movie makes it seem like he knew she was going to be at home.
Are you saying there's no benefit to going to her parents' house?
I'm saying there's no benefit.
No, there's
to going to
definitely
the
a benefit
wo-
in going
I'm saying
there.
there's no benefit to going to the woods and getting shot by Cliff Curtis.
With her attention there, or if she is there, if she's not, depends. I would say that if I were the bad guy, I would want to kidnap her parents in case she is there and kills everybody. But he found her, which is even better. You know what I mean?
I didn't feel, as an audience member, I didn't understand why that had happened. It felt like he knew it was a trap, but like, it didn't happen until the audience saw it happen, basically. You know what I'm saying? Where like, suddenly something happens in the movie so that the audience can go, oh my god, this happened. But then when you apply logic to it, you're like, wait, no. Why did that happen? That's how I felt.
The way I feel about that is the way he talked about it before with Rose and the way he talks about it after contradict each other.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit confusing.
I don't know if it's contradictory.
It definitely is. He says, I have some tricks up my sleeve. And then everyone dies and he's like, oh, good people died. Fucking...
And then they kind of lampshade it because he's like, we all ended up here anyways. People died on both sides. Doesn't matter.
But like,
and I felt like that was lampshading.
Those don't conflict, because him saying I got tricks doesn't mean everyone is going to survive. It just means that, hey, I have more weapons in my arsenal.
His trick sounds like, I'm going to fake out their fake out.
Yeah.
Well,
and then he does, like, but his people die anyways.
Well, it's an assumption to assume
But what else
anything.
was the trick?
Yeah.
It's just...
You establish the idea of, I have a trick.
Yeah, he has a trick. That doesn't mean I'm going to win. It just means I'm going to try to win.
I still disagree that it comes off as...
Well, it can come off
believable.
in a certain way,
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Especially since he was always so cocky about everything.
Yeah.
And that showed throughout the rest of the movie, even before he got yeet out of the
A
car.
bunch of friends dying would change a person. Would they not in one day?
Depends.
But in any case, I don't know.
So that was my big gripe with the movie, was that whole sequence. I was like, I felt like that was a waste of time, personally.
My only real gripe is the horror characters playing little evil Avengers at the end. And, let's all kill Charlize Theron together. Oh, man.
It's not Charlize Theron. It's
Is
Rebecca Ferguson.
Oh, she looks just fucking like...
It's whatever.
I watched the whole movie with Charlize Theron in mind.
It's an annoying actress. How about that?
Right.
Annoying character. I did not like Rosie
I didn't like
at
her
all.
character. Didn't like the actress either. I didn't think she tried.
She was fine. I just didn't like I didn't like the hippie group at all. They just annoyed me.
Some of them were there.
They
You know, I
were
didn't
all
hate.
there.
I
I'd
didn't
argue
hate.
they were all
I
there.
didn't hate all of them. It's just they were there. I didn't really have any like. They felt very overpowerful, and then they all just got shot by one regular dude, and then also Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, one of them... Danny... Well, first
Danny's
of all,
great. Yes,
Danny's great. Yeah.
I would say that Danny and his friend had the jump on them with real guns that were, like, big and, like, surprise and all that shit like that.
Yes,
and he's a
but
psychic.
we've also seen that these psychics have the ability to freeze people and stop items from moving, and it just
Well, if there's another
turns
psychic
into a regular
If there's a
shootout.
psychic on their side, that could
Yeah, but it's
affect
like a 6v1.
But they also didn't know
Still.
Danny was a psychic at that point.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
So he could be shielding his friend until, obviously, when she's like, kill yourself, which is great. That was a great
That was a
sequence.
good scene.
It was okay. I feel like Danny could have done more to stop him. 'Cause it's
Yes,
like,
but-
wait, no.
Well, it
No,
took
wait,
like
no,
1
stop.
second. I mean, like, give the
It
guy a
took like
break.
2 or 3.
Give him a break. It just...
I'm just saying, if you have clearly established that this woman has the ability to manipulate men with her words, and you hear her say, kill yourself, to your friend, I would move immediately.
Okay.
Danny hesitated.
I would not put it as bad as the situation where Darth Maul stood there for 5 full seconds.
As Obi-Wan, yeah, no. But I'm not going to say that that's an acceptable moment either.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fun fact, both of those, Ewan McGregor, just want to throw it out there.
Yeah, you're right.
I didn't mean it. Sorry.
Speaking of Ewan McGregor, he turns into fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end of the movie. He's a fucking Force ghost.
Yeah, that's very...
Yeah, that was pretty great.
I liked that, because he said at the beginning, when he's talking to the young version of him, you're going to teach someone how to make those boxes. He's like, nah. And then he ends up becoming his own mentor. And
Yeah,
I like
no,
that
that's
cycle.
a
Life
good-
is a
next
wheel.
Tony.
And again, that's a good through line for
Yeah.
Danny's character.
There
One of the things
are-
I enjoyed in this movie.
There are things in this movie that I like. That being said, most of the movie, I was just like,
It's not bad, it's just boring.
yeah, it just goes on a little bit too long.
I disagree. I loved it.
I feel like it picked up towards the end and then also went back down again.
It immediately went down. What bothered me was they kill Rose. And you're like, cool, end of the movie. And then they were like, hey, let's recreate the chase scene from The Shining. And I'm like, fucking why?
Yeah.
That is where I was just like, oh, remember this good movie? And I'm like, oh, come on, I want to watch the good movie now.
Because, like, with The Shining, you can infer subtext, like, is the
Yeah.
Overlook an entity? Can it control people? Can it
This
not?
movie's pretty like,
Text.
I am
It's
the
like,
hotel.
I am the hotel. I am the hood. I am the Stress DMX. But, no, I'm definitely the hotel with the
I
axe. I'm
am
gonna kill
Tom
you.
Cruise as the mummy.
I am Tom Cruise as the mummy. It felt
You,
very
Jake,
strange.
you looked over to me at one point and went, subtle. I was just
Yeah.
like, that's funny.
Yeah, no.
Well, there was a scene. I gotta explain that. There was a scene where this kid. The scene prior, they're like, "Oh my god, there's a psychic. I can feel him. I think he's in Iowa." And it went cut to Iowa, and there's this kid playing baseball, and it goes to one of the guys on the sidelines who's like, "Man, this kid hits every ball. It's as if he's reading the pitcher's mind."
And
Which is what's happening.
And then he goes, oh man, the scouts will be here in no time. It's a fucking tattoo or whatever.
They're
Uh,
just describing
Crow
what's happening.
Daddy.
tattoo from fucking
Electra.
Scorpion King and Electra behind him.
The guy was literally describing the plot of the movie.
Yeah. I
was
think
really upset.
so. One of the understandings I have about The Shining is one of the things that makes it great is Danny's powers, and to an extent, Jack's powers aren't really explained in the movie. They just sort of exist.
Yeah.
Like you were saying earlier about the hotel, like what does it do?
My interpretation is that Jack isn't powerful, but he was manipulated by the ghosts.
Yeah,
Yes.
but my point is, like, my understanding is that's one of the appeals to the movie is this
Ambiguity.
magic quote
Yeah.
is not really fleshed out. It's just sort of there. And you just have to accept, and you have questions. This movie, it felt like they were trying to answer a lot of questions about the magic,
Text. Yeah.
and I didn't really enjoy that because it comes off as not special.
We
And I
have
know
to-
that's rich me saying I've never seen The Shining, but like these magical abilities didn't feel like that. That's
We have to explain the plot hole of why there's a hole in the Death Star. That's not a plot hole. We have to explain the plot hole of the magic in The Shining, but we like that movie. It
Yeah.
feels like that.
I don't think they were trying to explain a
it
plot
didn't
hole.
go well. I mean,
No,
I can
but it
say
felt like
this: Doctor Sleep's an actual book.
Yeah,
That's true.
And it's like sequels can expand on the originals. In fact, the best sequels in the world expand on the original source
Agreed.
material.
It's just this one I felt like expanded on the sequel, or expanded on the original in the wrong way.
I disagree. I
But-
would have hated it if it was like a 30 years later nostalgia trip. This is a movie about Jack Torrance
No, that would
Part
have
2.
been that would have been way worse.
Right?
But
I mean, you know,
but just because it's not dog
and I
shit
can't,
does
I can't
not-
really speak to the level of
Well, my-
it being a tribute movie because I haven't
It's
seen
not
The
a tribute
Shining.
movie.
Well,
or
my whole
anything
point
until
with
the
that was
end.
like,
But-
it's definitely not trying to just rehash the original. It's a new story with a new set of characters. And a returning old characters, sure, but there's definitely a visible change there.
Yeah.
Except for the ghosts, which are exactly the same, which I loved.
Really, I wasn't
Yes.
sure because like I saw like the young versions of the characters and I'm like, is this like a deep fake or like or they
This is a
recast?
deep
You know what I mean?
That's a good question.
I
'Cause
couldn't tell.
It looked just like, I was thinking the same thing, like the
Yeah, they do
CG
look
head
like them.
replacement for one shot.
This is really good CG head
Really
replacement
good
if
stuff.
they did. It looks
It's a
better
big
than
budget they must have, because there's a lot of
looks
VFX.
better than Man.
Look better than Man
So,
Man.
talking about subtlety, I wanted to bring up one more thing. Towards the end of the movie, when they stop at the gas station, I pointed out to Mud, I'm like, oh look, the light on the gas station says pure on it. Get it? It's very subtle.
I didn't see the word pure at all.
It was
I
right
saw
on the
it,
gas
pure
station.
shine.
It was pure
It's-
and it was shining, and
I
like,
think-
that was the only thing that was bright in the whole scene. It was just pure, and I'm like, wow.
Well, personally, now that you've described that, that sounds pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think that's definitely like over.
I kind of agree with Jake. I think that's subtlety.
It's subtle at all.
Uh,
Well,
I don't know.
Ian doesn't like subtext or text.
he doesn't
No, I like subtext. I don't like text.
So Doctor Sleep, do we have any final closing thoughts?
Barring Jake has gotten a lot of defending the movie. Didn't hate it. It's not like it's a 3. I just didn't.
I
It
didn't
didn't
like
feel special. It didn't have like that same thing for me. I didn't like.
it. It
the-
didn't. I personally didn't feel like it had a signature.
Yeah, it
I-
didn't have that flair to it that The Shining does. And I haven't seen The Shining in over 10 years, and I'm like, yeah, it's still a great movie, and I remember it being amazing. I will forget Doctor Sleep in a week and a half.
I would say that this movie had a really strong impact and signature. Again, for the first 2/3, I would say that it almost has a really strong, impactful narrative, and almost really serves as a worthy, solid follow-up that's almost as good as The Shining. But I would say that as it stands now, it's solid. I'd watch it again. I don't love it, and yeah, I really don't mind most of it.
Out of 10.
7 by sheer math.
Like a 5 or a 6.
Same with Ian, 5 or 6.
Okay.
We're only a little
We
bit
disagreed
off.
a lot there.
We disagree. Apparently, there's a 12-mile gap between 6s and 7s
On
here
the
on
internet,
hot
you're
quality
correct.
content.
On the internet,
Well, the
yes.
thing is, like, I
I would say
this movie's a well-made movie.
for me.
I cannot give it any.
Hell yeah.
I mean, I would say for me personally, 6 to 7 is the threshold of I would watch this movie again. I really don't think I'd ever watch Doctor Sleep again in my life.
Fair enough.
I don't know if I would or not. I would want to, maybe directly after The Shining,
Maybe
to get like a nice
to
little.
get a better perspective on it. Doctor Sleep. At the end of the day, go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say. It's a banger.
Yeah, go watch it. If you like The Shining, you might like it.
Yeah. I mean,
There's
what
definitely
else?
something here for someone who's
Yeah.
a fan of The Shining, no matter who you are.
Yeah.
There's even things there if you don't really care for The Shining that much, because
I
it's
agree.
different. It is different.
Go see it. I'd say go see it, but see The Lighthouse first.
Oh yeah, go watch The
100%.
Lighthouse.
Go watch the best movie of the year, The Lighthouse.